Do I need to know what that is?
No, that's, it's a zygote. Sometimes I check and make sure it's still there.
Is it yours?
My daughter's.
Why would Gaal Dornick let someone she was about to humiliate hold the key to her most personal secret? Because, in that moment on the way to Clarion, Brother Dawn learned something no one else in the galaxy knows, which is that Gaal keeps her daughter's life in a safe, waiting for the right future to come along. And by the time these two finally turn on each other, he'll have the one piece of knowledge that could destroy her. The secret in plain sight. It's small enough to hold between two fingers, but it might be the most valuable thing Gaal Dornick owns. Locked away in a safe on her personal vessel is a zygote, a fertilized cell containing the full genetic code of her daughter, which has the potential for an entire life. In a galaxy where planets vanish overnight and history gets rewritten by those in power, this is the one piece of her future Gaal can still protect. She tells Dawn that sometimes she checks to make sure it's still there. And on the surface, that sounds simple, like making sure a keepsake hasn't been lost. But it's more than that. Every time she opens that safe, she's looking at a promise that somewhere, somehow, her daughter might live to see a better galaxy than the one Gaal's trapped in now. And here's where it gets dangerous, because until now, this was her secret, something so personal she's never shared it with anyone. But now Dawn knows. He knows that behind all the powers and the careful calculations, Gaal is carrying something irreplaceable. And that means he knows exactly where she's vulnerable. Which makes you wonder, did she forget that she was about to humiliate and betray him later on, about the plan not working? Or did she just underestimate how far Dawn would take that blow? Or maybe she didn't anticipate the risk at all. And if she couldn't think something this important through, then what other important thing might she put in jeopardy? Maybe Gaal thinks she can't lose. But moments like this suggest she's learning she can. A daughter outside of time. When Gaal finally met her daughter, Salvor, they weren't years apart like a mother and child should be. They were almost the same age. That was the result of time jumps and cryosleep, and it made their relationship complicated and short-lived. Now Salvor is gone, but Gaal still carries something from her, a zygote. This is a fertilized embryo created from Salvor's genetic line. In other words, this isn't Salvor herself. It's an embryo that could grow into her child, and that means if it's ever brought to life, it would be Gaal's grandchild. This is about preserving the next step in their family's story. A child who hasn't been born yet, and might grow up in a future Gaal will never see. She keeps it sealed in a safe on her ship, checking now and then to make sure it's still there. On the surface, that might sound like sentiment. But in Gaal's world, nothing is just sentimental. Gaal doesn't think in months or years. She thinks in centuries. Protecting this zygote is her way of ensuring her bloodline survives in a galaxy where people vanish, civilizations collapse, and history gets rewritten by whoever is left standing. We've seen this kind of long game before in Foundation, with things like Hari Seldon's plan unfolding over generations, the Cleons preserving themselves through genetic copying, and the second Foundation hiding until the perfect moment. Maybe she's waiting for the mule to be gone, because only then would the galaxy be safe enough for this life to begin. In her mind, that's the future she wants this child to inherit. This is Gaal's personal version of that, her own small plan that no mule or empire can touch today because it hasn't even begun to live. And that's what makes it powerful. And fragile. The fewer people who know about it, the safer it is, which is why the next part of this story is so dangerous. Because now, someone else knows. Dawn knows, and that changes everything. Now here's where the real shift happens, because this isn't just a touching moment between two people on a long journey to Clarion. This is the moment Brother Dawn becomes one of the only people in existence who knows where Gaal Dornick is truly exposed. And anyone who's followed these two knows they don't end the season as friends. By the time we reach the end of this episode, Gaal will humiliate him on a scale few characters ever recover from. She'll make him look reckless, strip him of credibility, and leave him with blood on his hands after a military disaster. That's not the kind of thing a man in Dawn's position forgets. So here's the real danger. The next time these two cross paths, Dawn won't be just another political rival. He will be a political rival she's made look incompetent in front of his council and his people. And out of all the Cleons, Dawn is the one who seems to care most about his reputation, so that blow will cut deeper than most. Now add the fact that he knows about Gaal's zygote, the one thing she's kept locked away as her personal future. And the stakes change completely. It's no longer just a grudge. It's a question of whether he'll use that knowledge as his ace against her. Clarion and the double game. Clarion isn't just another stop on the map. It's the center of galactic politics, the place where power shifts hands in front of the entire council. And Gaal isn't walking into that chamber herself. She's sending Dawn. He'll be the one to confront Tarisk, armed with the threat of blackmail over his ties to Calgan's aggression. That's the visible game, using Dawn as her voice in the council, pulling strings from behind the scenes to push the outcome she wants without taking the heat herself. But running alongside it is the hidden game, the zygote, a future she keeps completely outside the political spotlight because revealing it would destroy it instantly. That could be the real long game, the one Gaal never talks about. Because if the Empire falls, then Hari Seldon's plan takes its next step. That's the same plan designed to destroy the Mule. And if the Mule is gone, the galaxy becomes safe enough for Gaal to finally bring back her bloodline waiting in that zygote. It's not just personal survival anymore. It's the future she's holding back until the galaxy is ready for it. What happens if Dawn uses it? Secrets like this don't stay neutral. Right now, the zygote is a private hope, locked in a safe. But in the wrong hands, it stops being hope and starts being leverage. And Brother Dawn is exactly the kind of person who could turn it into a weapon. Not because he's evil, but because he's political. By the end of their alliance, Dawn has every reason to resent Gaal. And if that's the man holding your most personal vulnerability, then you're in trouble. Think about what he could do with it. He could either destroy it outright, taking away the only future Gaal's been guarding. He could also expose it publicly, painting her as someone with a secret stake in the galaxy's genetic future, and letting her enemies wonder what she's planning. Or he could just bargain with it, using her daughter's survival as currency in a political deal. In Foundation, the smallest things can shift the fate of the galaxy. A whisper in the right ear, a weapon in the wrong hands, or a single cell quietly waiting in a safe. Right now, that zygote is Gaal's hope for a better future. But thanks to one quiet conversation on the way to Clarion, it's also a card in someone else's deck, someone she will one day betray. So the question is, when Dawn finally makes his move, will he go after fleets and allies like everyone else? Or will he go after the one thing that truly matters to her? And if he does, will Gaal's greatest hope become the very thing that destroys her? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this, you can also check out our other Foundation videos right now. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.